Hello again, this is Dorothy here. Sorry for the big gap in the stories, but I just got a little bit carried away with the sunbathing in the summer and having a few little holiday breaks. But tonight I want to tell you a lovely story about Thomas Street in the Liberties, where my mother and my Aunty May both had their shops. I had the great pleasure to be invited by Charlie and Dandelion to number 77 Thomas Street, which was Aunty May's shop, to see what they have done. Well, you walk into an Aladdin's cave. It was unbelievable. The goodies, you'd be there, you couldn't leave. I'd say you want to allow yourself a good hour if you go in. And if you come out without buying something, I'll eat my hat. From jewellery to shoes, clothes. Oh, it's just unbelievable. But go in and see it yourself. Number 77 Thomas Street. And the pair of them are so charming that they'll be having a chat with you when you go in and telling you all the stories about different things they've got and where they bought them from. But it's definitely an Aladdin's cave. And I was absolutely thrilled to be invited in. And I was a bit gobsmacked when I saw what they had done. It was just like bringing life back into an area that was sadly going downhill very fast. And Thomas Street really was once a little town unto its own self, with the shops and the everything, the sellers on the road and the characters around and the people who lived in poverty, always with a smile on their face, had all now been moved to places like Ballyfermot, Ballymun, Dublin, out into areas that, first of all, they were never used to being in country. They were used to being in the middle of a city. It must have been absolutely heartbreaking for them, when I think about it now. And I remember hearing a story, I may have said it in one of my podcasts earlier, of the first lot arriving in Crumlin, the first lot of people coming from the tenements. And I was talking to this man, and he had a pork slaughterhouse there. And he and the bank manager and the doctor used to meet every night in the pub, and they'd have their couple of little pints, and it was very civilised and very quiet. And then they'd go in this night, and boy, have they a story. Up arrived the Bean family, pushing a cart with all their belongings on the cart up to Crumlin, a good 3.5, 4 miles from where they lived, pushing a cart and still looking happy. But it just gives you an idea of the changes that took place in these little tiny country villages. Anyway, they survived, but it took the life out of Thomas Street, I must say, all these people moving. And then they went to Ballymun and they went to other areas. I suppose they were comfortably housed and, maybe it was good for them in that way. But you'd love to get an opportunity to talk to some of the people who moved to those places and see how they react and, what effect it had on them. But anyway, to get back to Bojangles, Thomas Street was kind of nearly closing up. All the shops were closing down and not many people around, and the dealers seem to have disappeared from the street. But it was so heartwarming to go in and see this magnificent display in Bojangles. I mean, I could see things myself at a glance. Oh yes, I want that. I will definitely go back. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to spend a lot of time and I'm just going to absolutely enjoy myself. And sure, maybe you don't even need to win the lotto to go in there because everything is so reasonably priced. But it's great fun, and they're a lovely pair, the owner and Dandelion, Charlie and Dandelion. Absolutely welcoming and lovely. And I'm only sorry I didn't write about this sooner because I had such a lovely night and the champagne was gorgeous, but it kind of diverted my head a little bit. I might have said half the things I wanted to say. But anyway, I'm saying them now. And don't miss the opportunity. And if we get a few more businesses like that in Thomas Street, not alone will it be revived, but it'll become absolutely important to visit and enjoyable to visit, which is more important still. So anyway, yeah, I really loved being there and meeting them. I was a bit apprehensive going in. I didn't know, obviously what I was going to see. But talk about bringing life back, a resurrection of a shop. Because it's a very big, long shop. So they've loads of space to hang on the walls. And they don't use the conventional rails very much. They've all stuff shown out, kind of that you can see when you go in, without kind of having to root through rails. And I mean, there are a certain amount of rails, but stuff is beautifully displayed. And the whole thing was just so fabulous. So well done, Charlie. And you're a great man. I'm listening to you there the other night, talking about how you visited all these sales and picked up stuff and didn't take any trash. I didn't see anything that looked trashy. Everything looked really designer, beautiful quality, lovely colours. I think I even spotted a fur coat looking in very tempting condition. But anyway, go in yourself and have a look. That's 77 Thomas Street. And if you don't find something nice, I'll eat my hat. So maybe you might just send a little reply to me and tell me that you've been in and what you got. I'd love to hear that because I'm a little bit hampered in my travelling around now. Not that much stops me, but it's just getting into town is just a bit difficult. So if you're in there, it'd be lovely if you left a little note on my podcast comments to tell me how you got on and give my love to both Charlie and Dandelion. So I hope I give you enough information about it because it's well worth a visit. I couldn't stress that enough. 77 Thomas Street, one of the first shops just after Francis Street there. It's the second shop when you get off the bus or if you're parking. So good luck and good shopping.